How's it going, people? Thanks again for tuning in to one of our videos. It's a different setup today. I'm out and about, so just a quick update on the latest bullshit that's come out from the UNN, Kim's situation report. I don't know if any of you have seen that, but like I said, I keep telling you there's freebies out there on BitChute, I think on Rumble, but absolute rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Kim, I mean, I'll take my hat off to Sunny Gold. She's a real professional, and that's probably why she gets paid thousands a month. But Kim made a right meal of that yesterday. I mean, even if I don't even touch the situation report, she just ain't got a clue. And that Mike, again, I mean, he tried his best. He's supposed to be the producer. God, he can't even say a few words on there. I couldn't even hear him. I had to turn it up. I had to turn the volume right up. All right, I'm no expert in my videos, but these people are putting content out and charging you for it. Absolute rubbish. Well, I'm sure you all probably think the same, but I sat there, I was going like, shaking my head. This is ground commander, right? Ground commander of Earth. Ground commander that sits down, again, with world leaders, ET councils, and she puts that shit out on her news channel. It's an embarrassment. Absolutely. Made me cringe, to be honest. At least with her situation reports, it's natural. It rolls off quite, you know, naturally, because that is what she's comfortable with. She hates scripted stuff. When she does her situation reports, it has to pure bullshit from the heart, from the cold heart that she's got. It's not natural when she's reading from some kind of a board, whiteboard or whatever. We call them teleprompters or whatever. I don't even know. But absolute rubbish. Anyway, situation report. As I said before, she'd be backtracking at some point on some of the bullshit that she's put out. And straight away, it was going to be the Trump thing. Because people still see him walking around. People still see a Trump figure, if you believe him to be a person wearing a mask, something like from Mission Impossible. I think she's been watching a few too many of those. A clone or whatever you want to call it. That is still classed as Donald Trump, even if it's him or not. She said that he died in 2022, natural causes. I don't know, what was it? She said cancer, was it, of the colon or something like that. What I don't understand, right, I mean, before I get into that, my opinion, the reason why she's backtracking now is that she's come out and said that the lawyers of Donald Trump's family have said, no, you can't go out there to his family, right? Apparently one of the Donald Trump's son or whatever was going to go to the White House and say, yeah, my father's died in 2022, blah, 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 blah. That's my announcement. The thing is, why does it need the Trump family to say that he's dead, that he died? Remember, she said that these source fallen angels, whatever she wants to call them, the legions. Sounds a bit like the Silver Legion that that Thomas Williams used to have in the Cosmic Voice show. That's probably where she's got it from. But these legions, right? She said that this is the latest one. They've took over. They either took over or they're about to take over all the media, TV, right? Which is your CNN, your Skies, your BBCs, and they're going to go into, I don't know, I would assume the bodies of those newsreaders, right? It'd have to be that, wouldn't it? Because you see completely new people on the TV shows. You'd then say, oh yeah, maybe Kim's right. Maybe she has taken out all these bad people. But no, it has to be, they're going to go into the bodies of these people, right? And apparently they're going to tell the truth now. So why don't they just do it on there and say, ladies and gentlemen, just to let you know, I work for Kim, GIA. I'm, just want you to know that Donald Trump died in 2022. If that was put on every single station, including radio, That's all it would take. It wouldn't need his son to go to the White House to say it, would it? What does it matter? People believe what's on the news. They don't believe what, you know, we put in the newspaper half the time. You listen to it on CNN and someone says, yeah, just let you know, that's not the real Donald Trump running round. He's got a bloody rubber mask on or whatever. Oh, God, it's just absolutely ridiculous. You people really are, you must be laughing at this. You must be laughing your ass off at it. All you people in the care, or whatever it is you call it, Telegram channels saying how great Kim is and all this lot. There's something wrong with you. I really don't understand how you cannot see the pattern. How can you not see the pattern? Does it really matter, right, that Donald Trump, it gets announced that Donald Trump is dead? How is that going to change anything in the world after she said all along, whoever you put in power, they're just puppets? Remember, this is what she said from day one. They're just puppets. There's people above them. You look at the pyramid that she put up, and even that bullshit chart she put out, which is about 6 foot long, which really is just a family tree. And we've proven that in some of our videos. Anyway, you look at that, I shall say, this is where the president is, right at the bottom here, and these are the ruling families, and these are the people that tell the likes of Trudeau, Boris Johnson's and all this lot, Rishi Sunak's, that this is what you got to do. You do as you're told. That's all you are. It's a PR thing. It's a programming thing. You lot know that. You're the people that say you're awake. You know that. That's how it works. So what does it matter if Donald Trump comes out, someone comes out and says Donald Trump's dead? How the hell is that going to change anything, considering 800,000 bad people being removed from the earth already? That's what Kim said. And there's still about 100,000 to go. And, that's in a few days. So the situation we've been in for centuries is going to be over. Going by what Kim's saying, that these legions are working rapidly. All the bad people will be removed from the earth very soon. Can't be more than a couple of weeks, can it? If they've done 100,000 in 7 days, 800,000 in 7 days, the other 100,000 they could do in 24 hours. Now, if the likes of Trudeau does not get removed, you know very well, Schwab, who she said died years ago anyway, all these people that we see as bad people, and we know who they are. You got your own list of bad people out there. Goodness me, we've just gone through years of lockdowns and shit. All these people are bad people. You know it. They all should be gone. You should never see them again. She said there's no more clones and stuff. So who are they using then? Just like going to some talent show place and say, does anyone there look like Donald Trump? Yeah, right, we'll hire you. It doesn't work like that. Of course it doesn't. You're not going to get a lookalike Donald Trump to go up on a stage and give a speech. Lookalikes that have been used in the past was to stop assassination attempts on world leaders and famous people, or to divert the paparazzi. That's what they was hired for. They were not used to mimic a world leader up on stage, because that's not how it works. I probably would buy the clone thing more than the bloody lookalikes being used. They're not for that. You see them get into a car and drive off from Trump Tower or whatever. So yeah, once again, what is it with her and Trump? Does it really matter? No, it doesn't. There's bigger issues in this world than Donald Trump. Who gives a toss about Donald Trump? Not me. And if I lived in America, I wouldn't give a toss either. I don't give a toss about the politicians in this country, because I know it's corrupt. It's crap. All of it. You know that. So don't just don't jump on this bandwagon of Kim saying, oh, you know, we've got their lawyers, because that doesn't prove nothing. It's never going to happen. Do what you said, Kim. Take out the bad people, right? All of the bad people, all the ones you've accused of doing bad stuff. And you've all got the list of them. You must all have a memory of, you know, in your memory, you must have a list of all the things she said about all the bad people in the world. Even if it's her version of the bad people. They should all be gone. And then all the news people will be telling the truth. And it'll be exactly like her UNN network news. All that. Now, one more thing before I go. I watched it all the way through. I watched the news bit. And as I was watching it, I mean, the field messenger thing, it is a really good idea. I mean, I must admit, that is a really good idea, because you're showing how people are struggling in the world. Now, there was one particular part in there. There was this guy, I think they said it was in Ghana, and he was talking about mosquito nets, that they haven't got mosquito nets. And there's this young chap who's brainwashed, Kim's brainwashed him to do that role. And they're talking about, right at the end, after this guy talks about, oh, we need mosquito nets to stop malaria and people dying, he says, oh, let's hope that in the future you'll get some mosquito nets. Well, why aren't you getting them now? She's got trillions, access to quadrillions of money, and these poor... You're getting this bloke to come on your United Network News to tell you about how bad it is in their country. And the guy, you said, oh, maybe in the future, you know, sometime in the future, they'll get those mosquito nets. Well, I'll tell you what. How about you do a follow-up on that, Kim? And show you all these, like, millions of mosquito nets being handed out. And we want to see that these were provided by Care, with a big banner of you on there, or something like that. That's proof. That's what we want to see. But we've never seen nothing. This is it. We don't see shit from you, Kim. It's crap. So anyway, people, wake up. You know what's coming. It's Kim. She's backtracking. Just finding out whatever bullshit she can do to backtrack. And we're going to remind you every time she puts a situation report out and she backtracks, we're going to point it out to you. We're going to say, look, this is what she said 2 weeks ago, and this is what she's saying now. She backtracks. And you people that are falling for it, you kind of got, I don't know, memory like a sieve. It kind of like disappears. And she's been doing this for years. You just don't see the pattern. You just don't see the pattern. Especially those that have been in there for a couple of years. You should know by now that everything she says, there are some good bits in there, yeah. Because it's, well, none of it's theirs, but I told you, she's a psychopath. She needs hospital help. We've covered that before. She needs to go back into an hospital and get some help. In fact, I don't really see how people can think of it being anything more than that. Especially coming towards, we said by the end of this year. I mean, that's us being generous. The whole planet should be under Kim's control, right? Because she said she's going to be the president of all the countries temporarily. So we should see her on the TV, shouldn't we? We should see her in the United Nations, because she said you can't go to any countries without going to the United Nations to get permission to speak to all these countries and represent some kind of change. So there you go. Right, thanks a lot everyone for listening. Be good to hear your own opinions of it all, but that's our opinion, and it's fact really, because it's bullshit. It's backtracking. It started already, as we said it would. Just watch the rest of her situation reports, and you'll see there's proof there. Take care now. Bye bye.
The U.S. Congress has managed to prevent a government shutdown, although only temporarily and still without funding for the bill. However, the political scene remains chaotic. Several members of Congress have announced they will not seek re-election, contributing to a rising wave of retirements, vacancies in Congress. This brings the total departures from Congress to 26, including 9 Republicans and 17 Democrats. The political instability and dysfunction in Congress have raised public concern as the American people's interest seems increasingly neglected. The retiring and resigning representatives have voiced their concerns about the broken state of Washington, D.C., and the declining productivity of Congress. Most of the chaos has been caused by political operatives whom report to the deep state's Rothschild family. As the deep state fails, the operatives have no clear leadership or direction. We expect this will change in the near future as the deep state exits the scene. The United States Army is appealing to soldiers dismissed due to their refusal to receive the COVID-19 vaccine to return to service. Many of these service members were discharged in a campaign undertaken by the Pentagon under the assurance that these dismissals would not impact military readiness. However, the effects were more significant than anticipated, with thousands of soldiers dismissed and potential recruits deterred from enlistment. This has led to a significant shortfall in recruitment, with the military missing its goals by 25% and confidence in the U.S. government at an all-time low. Reprimands were given to the thousands of service members, damaging their career prospects and causing significant distress to those affected. Now, the military is extending an invitation to these dismissed service members to rectify their military records and return to service. Former U.S. First Lady Rosalind Carter passed away at 96 in her home in Plains, Georgia, surrounded by family, according to the Carter Center. As First Lady, Mrs. Carter passionately advocated for mental health treatment. She focused on increasing service funding for underprivileged communities. Post-presidency, she established the Rosalind Carter Institute for Caregivers, a platform providing resources and aid for Americans caring for their elderly relatives. Rosalind Carter was diagnosed with dementia in May and was spending time with her family, including her husband. The ex-president, who is 99, has been receiving hospice care since February. In Idaho, USA, a new wind farm project is facing opposition due to its concerns about its impact on the historic Minidoka relocation camp in Idaho. The project planned by Magic Valley aims to build massive wind turbines across 3 counties, doubling Idaho's wind energy project. However, descendants of those who were held at Minidoka during World War II argue that the site serves as a place of healing and remembrance, and they fear that development could cause irrevocable. Well, that wraps up today's news update. Please share UNN with your friends and family. We need everyone to come together to help restore our planet. When news happens in your area, record it and share it with us so that we can share it with the world. And remember, if it's going to be, it's up to me, it's up to all of us. I'm Kimberly Goguen, and join us Monday, Wednesday, Friday for the real news.
And now here's Kimberly Goguen with the Office of the Guardian. Hey, Kim.
I'm back. How did I do today, Mike? Did I do well?
You did a great job. It was amazing.
You guys have no idea what it's taken to get this out. Nothing to do. It was just technical error after technical error after technical error today. So anyway, thanks production team for hanging in there with us. That's all. You know, at least we laughed a lot.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what's going on in the world?
What's going on in the world? Well, we had a momentous statement that was put out by Sunny on Friday, at the end of Friday's news. And that seems to have gone viral.
Oh, wow.
Much to many people's dismay. So they're very upset about it. But the point has been taken by both the Trump team, is what I call them, because it's a compilation of different people, and the Pentagon.
Okay.
The Pentagon seemed more compliant, I guess you would say, with the changes. There were, well, obviously, Mr. Brown is unhappy, or General Brown's unhappy, with his soon-to-be new retirement status. But it seemed to be going fairly well. Well, until it wasn't. So the families the family of Trump had been visited by the GIA. They were afforded protection from the operatives that are now running them into the toilet. And they were told that they needed to make the announcement. So they did comply. Donald Jr. went to the White House, was there by 4 o'clock as requested by the Global Intelligence Agency, and he was ready to give the speech until the Trump team of lawyers said stop. So because they told him to stop, obviously nothing happened. Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, and then the hacking ensued. So the remaining people, not obviously the lawyers per se, but a bunch of operatives had hacked like crazy all night Friday night. Surprise, surprise. And nothing came of it, even through till Saturday morning. So by Saturday morning, the lawyers decided to call us and ask for more time. And we're like, time for what? Like, what is time going to give you? These things take time to put together. This is typical lawyer dancing around kind of talk, right? Oh, it takes time to put this stuff together. We can't do it this quickly. We have a lot of assets in place, meaning operatives, and people all around. We need to sort this all out. And we said, no, you've had 2 years to sort it out. You have no time left. We'll be happy to pay a lawyer fee, which I know you haven't gotten in 2 years. And we'll be happy to take care of the operative separately. I said, but we are not going to delay this anymore. Then there was Langley. Langley called and wanted to delay the announcement as well, apparently, in order to buy themselves time to hack some more. Because hacking for 17 years hasn't worked out so far. So why not just keep going? What's another year, several months? Right. Then they came back to us today and said that they were going to delay. They wanted us to delay until after the holidays. Well, let me explain to you what after the holidays means. Now, all heads of state, presidents, and important people always die in December. Did you ever notice that, Mike?
Not until you said something.
Okay. Well, it doesn't matter when they die. That's when they officially die, in December.
Okay.
And that's because typically it's not only Congress here in the U.S., this is all over the world. Governments are out of session usually by the end of November. They don't come back to the middle of January. Therefore, there's less disruption when a president or head of state dies. So, for example, Mandela. Mandela actually died in June, and I know that from his family. The funeral wasn't planned until December. And that's when everybody went and it was on the news and all the pomp and stance happens. Bush Sr. actually died in 2014. However, he didn't officially die until December of 2018. Mrs. Carter, I should say, also passed away right before December, because there's going to be quite a funeral for that one. And I wouldn't doubt it if her husband doesn't follow shortly behind her. Now, we also have other dead people walking around, and Trump being one of them, which Trump actually died in January of 2022. Right. He died of natural causes. If you haven't been following us for long, I might as well tell you the story. He had prostate cancer years before. The prostate cancer came back and it had metastasized to his other organs, and that's how he ended up passing away. He passed away actually with a very small group of people and family in Bedminster on January 28th, officially. They had taken him off life support. It took a day or so for him to pass, and that's what happened to the real Donald Trump. Since that time, the American people have been lied to. They have been trotting around operatives wearing masks and all kinds of different things since that time. If you remember, right before this happened, there was you can't really call them rallies because they're not a campaign rally. You remember he did this thing after he got out of office, and he would do these mega sessions. I don't know.
Right.
Invite a bunch of
Right.
people, probably charge money for tickets, and then it like sounded like campaigning, but not quite. Do you remember that,
To
guys?
remain relevant. Right. Yeah.
To remain relevant, right? Stay
Mhm.
relevant, exactly. And do you remember the time that he was on stage and wore his pants backwards?
Yep.
Went viral. Okay.
Yep.
Well, that was before he had passed away, and obviously having some issues, incontinence. Can't I say that word today?
Incontinence.
Thank you. Incontinence issues. And that was a fact. That was due to the cancer. So, there was a lot of signs out there, but people just didn't want to believe it. That everybody, told me I was crazy. But remember, I am the director of the Global Intelligence Agency, and I do have the highest clearance in the world, much higher than regular governments do. And I kind of know what's going on with the whole key intelligence and military system, so that I built. So that is the situation behind Trump's death. So there was nothing nefarious, So they're still trying to delay this information getting out there. They're taking money from people, MAGA hats, anyone, jackets, paraphernalia, Christmas ornaments, Trump stores in Texas, trying to convince people he's going to come back in 2024 and make things right. Now, nobody, just so you know, because I've been listening to these people rather intently for the last 3 days, has a plan on how that's going to happen. So if they had delayed this anytime with, longer than the next week or two, there would be no possibility of them announcing his death. They said they wanted to wait until after the holidays. Now, that is a full-on lie. Because if we had moved into January, what's the answer, Mike?
I don't know. It would be after, the government would start up again.
All presidents only die
in December.
That's
or
right.
Towards the end of the year.
Which would bring you to the end of 2024 before anybody said anything. And by then, the election or selection would be over. And they think in their little tiny minds that this is supposed to, then he would be in office and then I would be forced to do something. Well, let me give it to you straight. I already know what they're going to say to me. I already know. Because they clearly have no economic sense in any way, shape, or form, at least not as it relates to macroeconomics and running a country. Number one. Number two, they won't make it to the end of 2024 on borrowed time promises, fake servers and fake servers at the NSA in Maryland, fake servers at UBS in Zurich, Switzerland. You cannot install fake servers and spend that money. It's just numbers on a screen. That's all it really is. It's numbers on a screen. Did it buy them time before? Yes. But they're out of time. You see, because the government the U.S. Treasury has been getting IOUs, giving IOUs to banks. And they must have forgotten about this part. So to pay like veterans pay, Social Security, minimal bills, they give an IOU to Bank X, and Bank X allows those checks to go through. Same thing with the post office and a number of other federal divisions. They allow those checks to go through and then plan on cashing the IOU for the liquidity back at a later date. Now, this process we have allowed to happen to the tune of $580 billion. Yeah.
Wow.
But that $580 billion is not worth $580 billion anymore. Now, why is that? The reason why it's not worth $580 billion anymore is because the U.S. went to a negative credit rating. Now it's worth less.
Okay.
So the asset is devalued now at this point. Now, when the U.S. credit rating goes to zero officially, then, that's the end of that IOU. And the bank isn't, going to go under. The banks are already very close to going under. They don't have any assets worth anything. A lot of treasury assets have expired, and they're just trying to keep up the smoke and mirrors as long as they can, because they had control over the board of the medias. Well, now the board of all the media companies is the GIA. So how much control do you really have? The answer to the question is very little. We gave you tolerance and leeway until the end of business on Monday, which clearly that will pass and nothing will happen. Later on this afternoon, they started rethinking things a little bit. They're not 100% on the no side, but they're pretty close to it. Other things they didn't take into account. Number one, the cost of the current small war in the Middle East is between $30 to $50 billion a day, not including arms. Where are they going to get the money to pay this bill? How many more IOUs can the banks cash? They've already gotten to the point where they're delaying customer deposits to cover the check. Now, they keep trying to trade against these customer deposits, or doing what's called in the banking business an overnight swap, and there is no more swapping happening. So they've delayed it and nothing has happened. You know, they have delayed payments in apps like Zelle and a few others. I know that for a fact. They are trying to trade against money because some, and please excuse me for saying this, but some stupid monarch operative whose name I know has been trying to set up trade after trade after trade for about 4 years now. And it's never happened once. Not once, not one success, but yet he still gets up every day and does the same thing. I know. It makes no sense whatsoever. They're still trying to think, they still think for some reason financially it's 1985, and it's not. You can't do this stuff in the system anymore. The system has changed. It is not a note-based system anymore. I mean, they can issue off-ledger notes all they want, you know, against fake gold that they don't have, to banks telling them that you can cash them, just like they did with the Saudis and the Kuwaitis and everyone else. But, you know, there's no more to sell. They tried to sell more treasury notes last week and it didn't work out. No one came. No one bought anything. Wasn't even enough to keep the lights on in the Treasury building, let alone more than one Treasury building. So that's kind of the state of the affairs with the Trump team. Now, I had offered, like I said, lawyers' fees, back lawyers' fees, because they haven't been paid. I had offered to pay the operatives to orchestrate this. I had offered to do all of this, and they still will not do it. The only other reason why these crazy people probably think that something is going to happen. Now, remember, these are the same people that dragged his cold, dead body to Belize a few months ago to try to get something up in there and get him to wake up. You know, and then they dragged him to several different areas in the United States too, thinking that there was going to be something that would inhabit that and he would come back. And nothing actually happened. So you can't put anything past these people, and we can't try to instill common sense into their head at all in any way. They just know they want something. They just have no idea how to get it. But they did promise the government that they would have some money by the end of the day. Today, and they have also hacked with zero results all day today. It's been a very busy day around here, news included. But you know, it's a complete waste of time. So this leaves not only the United States government, but this leaves the entire planet in a little bit of a quandary. And the quandary is the governments are going to go through a transition, starting probably with the United States at this point. There's no way they can pay their debt. They have a lot of treasury notes that have expired, which means they're not an asset to the system anymore in a fiat system, which they're still trying to work in, and I don't really understand that. So either they're going to do this and what is right, when I say this, I'm about to tell you, or we are not going to have governments anymore. I don't think my requests are unreasonable. I know that I will never turn Mr. Brown away from the Rothschild family, et al., anyone within that group. And there's way too much information about him available through intelligence services and systems. Way too much. So that's number one. Number two, since we now have our Legion friends in media, in the media business, they will, and have agreed, they will actually do the announcements formally themselves and place their own selves in as journalists and get the information out. Next, I know. Next, the archivists. The archivists also have agreed to give them, the legions, which are, you could just say they're good friends. We're all good friends. And give the legions a copy of Trump's 40th birthday tape to go live on air.
Wow.
We also have proof, which we can air, of Ivana's death and how and who was involved. Let's just say we know everyone that was involved. Everyone. We also have information on the law firms too. We also are aware of where they send their operatives out. They have their own set of operatives. I don't know if that's very interesting, isn't it? And where they send them out and what they like to do. These guys are, for lack of a better term, let's call them, they could put Tide detergent out of business, Mike. They do so much laundry. It's ridiculous. Campaign funds, all kinds of different things they've been involved in. You got to pick your battles here. And I know they think, because they've already talked about it, they think I'm going to concede. I'm just going to say, well, save the government. Yeehaw. Maybe we can give her one thing and not the other thing. Maybe we can. Does she want money? Does she want a jet? What does she want? I was pretty clear. I know that they're probably confused because the average woman, sometimes we don't always say what we want, right? Ladies, let's face it. We're fine. We say all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a female thing. But I'm, unlike most, I'm very clear and succinct. I said these two things have to happen, and the government could receive funding. The GIA is in the Treasury Department. They're in position. They're ready to go. They have a copy of the budget. Probably by the end of tonight, I'll have a copy of the budget. Everybody's ready to go, but nobody's doing anything until this team of lawyers decides that it's a good idea to do something. Until they're out of time. This is going to happen whether they want it or not. Bottom line, it's going to happen. We have the doctor who was there when they pulled the plug off life support. We have all these people. So please, just make good decisions. The rest of the plan also has to work out on our end of it too, because where we're going is the right way to go. We have a plan. Isn't that a shocker, Mike? We have a plan.
Right.
Yeah, let me tell you about part of it. I can't tell you all of it, obviously for reasons. But part of that plan is by putting an appropriate person in as the chief of staff over in the Pentagon. Then the announcement of that death, which needs to happen. But you got to think about the militias and the patriot community. Everybody's going to go bonkers until they don't. Okay, we are Americans. We have a very short memory of things.
Right.
And if the announcement of the death happens, then a few hours later, the military comes out, declares martial law, says they're under attack by the deep state. They're trying to crash our financial system. We need to rid the country of the deep state, and we are the new heroes, and we can do this, and be firm, be succinct, and make it happen. Actually walk the walk. Because, of course, we're going to be telling you what to say. And we'll be right there with you. You know, that's how we are. We're good people. We are right there with you on the front lines. GIA. You know, that's what we do.
Yep.
But I can guarantee you, if you do it right and the speech is right, there'll be not one patriot that's going to complain. Because for the first time since 2020, in this election and lockdowns and everything else that happened before that, they are seeing action, and it's happening in mainstream media, and that's all they want. They want someone, anyone to take action. That's what the few 100 million Americans want. That's it. And quite frankly, that's what the world wants. Someone actionable, decisive, gets the job done, and doesn't play around. No more tomorrow games. Oh, he'll be back in the White House by 2024, January, or whatever they told the White House staff. All that will go out the window. All they know is action is being taken, and they're happy. Then you need to make a difference in their lives, and pretty quick. Student loans, everything, you know, it just needs to go away. Like, you just need to stop. So this will solve your problem because we have a plan, and we have a budget for state funerals. I don't care if you have 10. You should do. Also, Pelosi has also passed away, by the way, a while back. So we could do Pelosi. Maybe we could get like a 5-for-1 deal or something. Do they do 5-for-1s, you know, at Arlington?
There you go.
No, maybe
make it a group state ceremony. You know,
we can just get like one big coffin. No,
there you go.
I don't know.
Line them up in the Capitol.
I'm just trying to think of ways we can save money. That's all. You know, we could do it all in one day and save the Secret Service a lot of money. You know, save one plane flight for all the other heads of state because their countries are broke too. You know, just trying to be helpful here. You know, we could do that. That makes sense to me. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see which road they choose. We'll see which type of information actually starts coming out. If you don't believe me and you're with the deep state or you're Trump's lawyers or whatever, and you're watching this, then you can go call Turner's office. You can go call Viacom. You can go call CNN. You can call all these people, and they'll say, yes, we know the GIA. Yes, we do. And see that blonde lady? She's the director. That's her. Yes, it is. Yep, absolutely. And they'll tell you my name when they approach you and all that. So they know my name now, much to their dismay. So no, we're not going to wait for a year until next December when the next load of heads of state or whoever dies. That's not going to happen. We obviously have other dead people walking around. Maybe they should all go at the same time. Quite frankly, if the military comes in there, starts making decisive action, it makes good TV. I mean, remember, politics is a movie. For movies, you know, it's Hollywood for ugly people. So it's just a movie. It makes good TV, don't you think, Mike?
Yep.
Anything I missed there? Is there something else we should say on TV other than decisive action happening on behalf of the American people?
I think you covered it all. I think, you know, one thing you said is we're just going to move forward if they don't. So,
yep. And moving forward, we are. So we could actually just never fund the government. So the other alternative is they don't do anything. We leak the information anyway, so it's over anyway at this point, and it'll be too far to stop it. And then you are ending up with nothing. Because we won't be paying any fees at that point. We won't be helping you out. I'm certainly not paying for a state funeral, and I'm certainly not helping the government either because you didn't comply with the program. The rest of it is the movie. You can't stop. You can't stop in the middle of the movie. You know how you hate that, Mike? You know, if all of a sudden like the internet goes out and you're streaming or, you know, and you stop right in the middle of the movie. You can't stop in the middle of the movie. You have to be ready, willing, and able to complete the rest of the plan, or you're going to torch the country anyway. So you're out I understand you've been able to play this like rotation of IOU game. I get that. I've been watching it happen, and we let it happen because for the most part, this is for the average everyday citizens in the United States and federal programs. So we let it happen. You're not able to fund the war with it. You're still not paying any operatives, but you did manage to pull $500 billion out of the banking system, which is now not in the banking system because it went into government programs. That's a whole long story for another day. And now what are you going to do? Now you have even less liquidity in the United States. So technically, yes, they were taking orders from the deep state to do this. So technically, I'm not lying. How a politician or a military person not getting on TV and lying, not lying. That's amazing. But we're not lying when we said we're under attack by the deep state. And Trump had that out all over the news. We're going to drain the swamp, end the deep state. You know, I never even used the term deep state. We all use the words cabal, Illuminati, the Order of the Dragon, the Black Sun. We used a lot of terms, but never the term deep state until Trump got into office. It's all over social media now. Everybody, even the average everyday person, knows the term deep state. So that's basically the situation that's unfolding at the moment. Are they going to make the right decision? I haven't seen anything that tells me that at this moment in time. And matter of fact, I see more and more people hating me for what's happening because they can't stop it. The GIA, aka the Legions, aka the Archivists, aka the Coalition, they're getting rid of people. There is no tolerance, and they know it too. Even Langley 5 knows it. Langley 5 knows there's no tolerance, and we are just one after the other. They're disappearing, and they know it. And they're just angry because they can't stop it. Matter of fact, one of the operatives that I do talk to, everybody called that guy today. Call her. You have influence over her. You know, you could get her to do things for us. You can get her to stop. No, he can't. No one can, except for Source. Unless God says no, then no, I'll stop. Other than that, moving right along into the rest of this, which in America is a holiday week. So yeah, trying my hand at news this week. We're running the GIA over here. We're sending operatives everywhere. We're moving things all around, all at the same time. I'm pretty good at this multitasking.
Multitasking, yeah. I was just
multitasking. That's right.
Nice job.
Much to their dismay. Okay.
So, wow, my mind is blown.
It's been a busy weekend. You know when I'm not on the news that there's big things happening all the time, Mike.
Right.
So today, due to all our technical issues and my, I guess you would say, busy day, we're going to move the questions that we had for today over to Wednesday and answer them then. So we're going to keep this one a little bit short, and I guess that's it.
Great. Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Mike.